Well, you guys, I haven't had a month this bad for reselling since about the summer of last year, but I wanted to take the time to talk about what sold on Poshmark and eBay for $40 or more in the month of February, so let's go. Hey guys, it's me, Kay, and you've arrived at my weird little corner of the internet. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm a part-time reseller, mostly on Poshmark and eBay, though I do list on Mercari and Depop and rarely make sales there. And I also sell locally at an antique mall, also that me and my daughter can travel the world as our time allows. So like I said in the intro, this is going to be kind of a February what sold for $40 or more, and it should be a fairly quick video, unfortunately, because my February was not great, and my March is not looking too hot either. So I don't know if it's the economy. I'm not really doing anything different. I'm listing the same amount of items. I'm listing as often as I did in previous months. So something's definitely changed. My eBay's basically dead as a doornail, and I'm not quite sure why. So it is what it is. It's ebbs and flows, and I kind of just have to deal with it. But let's talk about what sold. So again, this is $40 sales or more. And in total, between Posh and eBay, I had 17, which is quite literally half of the amount that I had in this wheelhouse last month for January of 2023. So not great. I had 8 on Poshmark and 9 on eBay. As I'm talking about them, you guys will be seeing pictures of the listings over here on the side. So let's go. All right, so let's talk about Poshmark first. So the first item is a Helmut Lang cashmere sweater. This was an extra small, which I think is part of the reason why it took a year to sell. I listed it at $85. It sold on an offer from the buyer for $60, and I paid $6.39. I still like picking up Helmut Lang, but I definitely think I need to be a little bit pickier with this brand, because this is another example of a brand that I used to send into the Real that I'm now trying to sell myself, and that's not really my buyer. So I gotta kind of really think about that going forward. Next is a pair of Innovate shoes. Innovate is a really great shoe brand. It's not one that I find too often, but I used to wear them when I used to run obstacle course races, or OCR, in my former life. I had a lot of shoes from Innovate that I would kind of switch out depending on the length of the race, but that's a story for another day. These were a pair of lifting shoes. So for bodybuilding, they were called the Fast Lift 370. They were like a very bright neon pink color. So basically, if you're familiar with the Nike Romaleos or Romaleos, I don't quite know how they're said, but it's basically like a very flat shoe, and then the back has a little bit of a wedge, so it's good for squats and deadlifts and stuff like that. These did have a little bit of a flaw. The brand name was just peeling off on the toe. I did note that. They sold in 2 days for $49, which was an automatic 10% off offer from my Flipbot. I use Flip because it's free. And you know, as a part-timer, I try to cut costs wherever I can. And I paid $5.99 for these. Next is a sweater, another flawed item actually. This was a full price sale of $40. It was from ModCloth. I do like picking up ModCloth, but I think going forward, I'll really only look for either the plus sizes or the novelty prints, which this was. This was called the However It Ghosts sweater. It's kind of like a Fair Isle print with some ghosts on it, and it did have one line where the graphic wasn't really there. I don't know what happened with that, but I did make sure I noted it in the listing. It sold in 2 days, again for full price $40, and I paid $6.39. Next is an item that was free to me because it's from my own personal closet. I've been trying to go through and offload some things that I don't really use or wear, this being one of those. This was from Lululemon. It was the Everywhere belt bag in Heritage Camo. This was an older one. I bought it directly from Lululemon a couple years ago, and I'm pretty sure they still retailed the same as they do now, which is $38. And I don't think I paid shipping. I'm pretty sure Lululemon has free shipping. It sold in a day. I listed it at $46 and took an offer from a buyer of $40. So basically it's like I'm breaking even. Next is another Lululemon item. Actually, the next three are all Lululemon. So this was the In Movement Tight. These sold in 1 month for $40. I listed them at $50, so it's not a bad offer in my opinion. And I did pay $10.39 for these. I also paid $10.39 for the next pair of Lululemon. These were the Align Pant 25-inch inseam in Floral Illusion. That was the colorway. These I listed at $60. A buyer came in with an offer of $40. I countered at $50, trying to, you know, meet in the middle. And then we settled at $45. So $10.39 into $45. And the last Lululemon item for Poshmark, I don't know if I have any on the eBay side. I don't see that right now. These were the Wonder High Rise Tight in foil. I got these in Connecticut when I took my daughter to celebrate her birthday. She wanted to go thrifting. These sold in 2 days. I listed at $60 and they sold for $52. So the Wonder Unders are not the most desirable from Lululemon. People really like the Aligns because they have the V in the back that kind of accentuates your bum. But the Wonder Unders, especially like the low-rise Wonder Unders, not the best. But these had good comps because they were the foil version, so keep an eye out for those. You'll be able to tell that they're foil because they look metallic. And I paid $6.99 for these, so $6.99 into $52. And the last sale for Poshmark for this video was a pair of Levi's 501 jeans. I only pick up 3 styles from Levi's. If you're new here, I pick up the 501s, I pick up the wedgie, and I pick up the ribcage. I pretty much skip on the mile high and everything else from Levi's and just focus on those 3. Those are the best sellers for me personally. These were a 501 skinny. So 501 skinny doesn't do the best out of the 501 styles. The tapered and the regular straight legs do better, but I wanted to try the skinny style because I came across it. I came across 2 pairs and this is the first one to sell, just because I wanted to see if, you know, skinny really is on its way out or if 501 skinnies would still sell, and they sold for $40. I listed them at $45, so that was a 10% off offer. But that one came from a buyer, it wasn't from my flip bot. And I paid $12.99 for those. So for those 8 items I sold on Poshmark in that threshold, it's $366 in gross sales. At 8 items, that gives me an average sales price or ASP of $45.75. My total cost for those 8 items was $59.53, making my average cost of goods $7.44. That's a little bit high. I like to stay $5 and under, but when we look at Poshmark as a whole for February, we're a little bit closer. So let's talk about that. So my total sales on Poshmark, I sold 38 items in the month of February. My total gross sales was $1,031, so just over $1,000. My average sales price was $27.13. That's pretty standard for me. My total cost of goods for all 38 of those items, $200.09. And my average cost of goods was $5.26. So like I said, closer to that mark that I like to be at, $5 and under. If you compare that to January, it doesn't look so good. I sold 56 items in January for $2,196 in gross sales. My ASP was closer to $40. My average cost of goods was a little higher, $673, but I also sold 56 items, so my total cost of goods was higher anyway, and my total profit was more than double what I made on Poshmark in February. So I know February is a short month, but it just wasn't good for me overall. But let's move over to eBay. So on eBay, I had 9 items that sold for $40 and up. Let's talk about those. So the first is a pair of Mother jeans. I love selling this brand. I didn't find it for a few years, and then I found 3 pairs and 2 of them sold really quickly. This is the Mother high-waisted looker ankle fray. It sold with a typo in the listing because these sold on eBay, and my phone auto-corrected looker to looked, but they still sold. They sold in 5 days for $50. I had listed them originally at $60, and I paid $8.40 for those. Would I pick them up again? Absolutely. Next was a Bins find. So if you watched that Bins haul, this was a Johnston's of Scotland cashmere sweater. This went to Norway, so this went through the eBay International shipping program, the new one, not the GSP. I kind of missed the GSP because I used to get lots of international sales, and I've only made 2 so far in 2023. But also my eBay has not been performing well, so that could be a factor as well. I listed this for $50. It sold in 3 days for an offer from the buyer of $42. My cost of goods was $1.80 because they came from the bins. Next was a ThredUp sale. These were the Veja V12 red suede sneakers. I had never heard about this brand before, and then when I posted that video, I got a lot of comments from you guys, so thank you so much. That Veja was a good brand to look out for. I listed these at $90, and they sold for an offer of $68. I paid 19 cents because I used some ambassador credits on ThredUp to buy that shoebox, so 19 cents into 68. It's not as good as January's 19 cents pair of Fiorentini and Baker boots from that very same box that sold for 117, but I'll take the 68. Next we have a beauty product, which is pretty rare for me to sell these because I don't do well with beauty products at all, but this was a full price sale of $45, $44.99 on eBay. It sold in a month, and I paid $2.85. It was a Bath & Body Works Freesia body cream. I guess this one is sought after and rare. So yeah, sold full price for $45. And all of these eBay sales, by the way, are plus shipping. I do not offer free shipping on my eBay store. Next was another full price sale. This one was pretty decent. This sold for $60. It was a Tumi Race Ducati convertible bag. I showed you guys this fairly recently in a Friday Thrift Haul video, Friday Thrift Finds, sorry, video. It sold in 6 weeks and I paid $14.99, so $15 into 60. I would definitely do that again. Next was a brand that I've only found twice. This is the second one to sell. The other one took forever to sell because it was a pair of jeans and the crotch area was kind of busted up. So I did put that in the listing for that piece, that maybe someone could turn them into a pair of shorts. I probably should have done it myself, but I didn't. So they still sold anyway, but they took a while. But these sold fairly quickly. 3 months, which for me is fairly quickly. That's like my wheelhouse for the most part. If it doesn't sell immediately, I'm usually good at about 3 months. And these are the Great is the brand. Navy cropped embroidered joggers. I listed these for $60. They sold for $48. That was an offer from a buyer. And I paid $4.19 because the thrift store had no idea what these were. So if they could keep doing that, I'll be totally grateful. Next is a brand that I love to sell. You guys have probably heard me talk about it before. It's American Giant. The retail is not super crazy high, but for whatever reason, I can usually get semi-close to retail when I am reselling the item. So this is American Giant. These were the Ponte No BS Kick Flare Pant. This is the second pair of these very same pants that I have found. The first pair I sold for $48 and they were a size 14. These I'm pretty sure, you guys will be seeing it anyway, pretty sure these were a size 12. I listed these at $48 because the last pair sold for that and that was the full price sale. And these sold for $40 in 3 weeks for $6.99. So yeah, I do still love that brand and hopefully it never falls off. Next is a Starbucks mug. So I pick these up when I go out of the country. I don't really pick them up much in the States anymore when I travel because they just don't do as well because, you know, it's easier to find them. But for, you know, US based buyers who want to collect the mugs from countries maybe they've been to, it's helpful when you're a US seller and you go abroad and you bring back the mugs and then you sell them. So highly recommend if you go somewhere, you know, fancy or exotic, that you pick up a mug. They're usually between $13 and like $18, depending on exchange rates and all of that stuff when you go. So this one's from Austria. I do still have an Oktoberfest Germany one that hasn't sold. But this one sold in 2 months. I paid $19.90, I think that's a 7, $19.97, so almost $20 with the exchange rate at the time from the euro to the USD. I listed it at $55 and it sold on an offer for $45. So I'm happy with that, even though the cost of goods for that one mug was a little bit high, $20 roughly into $45. It's a little bit more than doubling my money, but I still love picking up those cups. And I also bring some home for my daughter because she collects them as well. And the last sale on eBay, for this video was a pair of Keens. This brand is hit or miss for me, and it's mostly miss, to be honest. But these were a men's style, and I got them from the bins. I don't know why nobody picked them up. They were in pretty good condition. This was a full price sale, $39.99, $40 essentially, and they sold it a month. These are the Newport H2 sandal. Again, they were men's, and they came from the same day that I got the Johnstons of Scotland cashmere sweater that I talked about a little while ago. So my cost of goods was $1.80. Okay, so let's break down the totals for the eBay platform. So for those 9 items, the total gross sales, not including anything buyers paid for shipping, was $438, making my ASP for just that little chunk of sales $48.66. Love that for me. Wish it stayed that way for the whole month. My total cost of goods for those 9 was $61.18, so my average cost of goods was $6.79. Now let's talk about February as a whole and compare it to January, and then we'll do the same for both platforms combined. So total gross sales on eBay, $1,239.31. I sold 57 items on eBay, making my ASP $21.74. My total cost of goods for all 57 of those items that I sold was $219.05. I can read, I promise. And my average cost of goods was $3.84 because I sold a lot of bins items, or like those Vejas for 19 cents. That really brought my average cost of goods down, and I love that. So compared to January, yeah, it's not as bad as Poshmark. My total profit difference was down like 300 or so, 200 and change between February and January. I only sold 3 less items on eBay in February, but like I've said and I've been saying, I don't know why, but my eBay has not been performing well, so don't quite know what's going on there, but hopefully it fixes itself. And my average cost of goods was about, 80 cents less. So that's not bad. It was $4.45 in January and $3.84 in February. And my average sales price was only $5 more in January. So eBay pretty much stayed kind of the same, and Poshmark was the real downer to my February. Okay, so let's get into the overall numbers and then we can wrap up this video. So as always, these are just Poshmark and eBay figures. It doesn't include anything that I sold on Mercari or Depop because I didn't have any that hit that threshold for this month. I don't think I have in the history of me doing these monthly recap videos. It also doesn't include how my booth did, which if you're interested in that type of content, I will be putting out monthly recap videos of what I am selling in my antique booth, what's moving fast, what's kind of sitting, those kind of things. So again, if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing. You guys will be seeing that soon within the next month or so. But yeah, so this is just Poshmark and eBay, and we're gonna compare February to January overall. Total gross sales for February, $2,270.31 versus January, $3,769.84. So that's $1,500 less, which is not great. I don't like that. Number of items sold, 95 versus 116 in January. Not too big of a difference there. ASP did see a big drop though. In February, it's $23.89 versus January, $32.49. Yeah, so like $9. Total cost of goods for the items sold, $419.14 versus January, $643.93. That kind of correlates because, I sold more in January, so usually that means that my total cost of goods will be higher. Average cost of goods, $4.41 in February versus January, $5.55. Obviously, I like February better for that specific metric because it's under $5. But honestly, it's a little over $1 difference, so it's not huge. And the total profit, February, $1,509.62 versus January, $2,529.44. So yeah, that's over $1,000 difference between February and January. So Luckily, this is just my part-time gig, so I'm not relying on that money. It's just extra money for us to have fun and travel when we can, usually when she's off from school when everyone else travels, but that's the way it goes when you have a teenager who's in school. I'm still happy that I made $1,500 in profit. It's money, it's extra money. Why would I complain about that? But am I concerned? A little bit, because March has not been fantastic either. January was really great, and now we're just in like a rut. So hopefully things turn around. I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing and list and relist when I can and cross list things to Mercari, which I have started to do a little bit more because my numbers have not been great. So I guess that's a silver lining and a plus, but so far I haven't also really made any sales on Mercari either. So it's kind of like, is it even worth it at this point? I guess we'll find out. But yeah, hopefully things turn around in the next 11 days from filming this on March 20th. And my March, you know, gets a little higher than it is right now because it's looking pretty sad. So yeah, that's everything for this video. $40 plus sales for the month of February 2023. If you enjoyed it at any point, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube to know what type of content you enjoy seeing from me. Please let me know in the comments down below how your February sales were. Even if mine were trash, I still love to see you guys out there killing it. And you know, it's just have the positivity in the comments. I like to see that. But other than that, if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here in my weird little family on the internet. Stay weird, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys.